Good morning, Tina. How are you?
Very well, Lee. Thanks for having me this morning.
You're welcome. Just for the listeners, we have Tina Jamieson. Have I pronounced that correctly, Tina?
That's correct, Lee.
Okay. Now, Tina is a residential sales manager for Queensland with realestate.com. I actually had the pleasure of meeting you and Andrew yesterday at the breakfast you held here.
That's correct.
Yeah, which is great to see all the agents there and give us some information. It was very informative.
Glad everyone could attend.
Yeah, it was great. Okay, Tina, we know that the realestate.com is the most used property portal in Australia. Other portals are still trying to catch up, I understand. But anyway, where is all the traffic coming from?
So, Lee, yes, 3 million people visit realestate.com.au on any average month. 10% of visitors are browsing from countries outside of Australia. More commonly, we're looking from the UK, US and also New Zealand. If we're talking specifically about Queensland, 58% of all views for Queensland listings actually come from out of the state. So when we're actually talking to agents on why it's important to put addresses on their sellers' advertising, that's the potential market that they may be missing out if they don't.
Yes.
And locally, 47% of moves are to suburbs further than 10 kilometres from the mover's origin. So it's really important that we get that out to the wider audience.
And actually, you were saying yesterday when you were giving your presentation, now correct me if I'm wrong, 108,000 viewings per month for the Caboolture-Morayfield area, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
And I think it was roughly around about 11 unique visitors per month.
I actually had a presentation yesterday with a couple down at Beachmere, and they were very interested to hear those facts and figures because, you know, when you're telling them where to present their properties and put them on the market for the best, you know, people to see them and look at them and view them before they actually get in the car and get into the home, I think it's important to have those figures for them because, they were surprised that there were that amount of viewings and traffic for our area.
And I think that the sellers need that information and they really, embrace it and understand where their actual market's coming from.
Most definitely. Okay, so with all of that information, what does it mean in terms of maximising your market reach?
Yeah, so Lee, sellers are going to have to use a variety of advertising channels to hit potential buyers internationally, interstate and locally. Mm-hmm. So the great thing about advertising on a portal like realestate.com.au that the sellers can be seen anywhere in the world at any time. So when we talk about, open for inspections 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if we're selling in Caboolture and you advertise online, you're going to reach buyers on the other side of the world as well as the other side of the street.
Definitely. That always does make a difference to people. You also and I'll just sort of touch on it, for people that are wishing to sort of understand just a little bit more, you have the standard properties, you have your feature properties, the highlight properties and the premium property, which the premium, as you explained, is more for over the $1 million mark. But it was interesting that 3.1 more people view the feature properties than your standard property, and then I think 7.9 more views in a highlighted property rather than the standard.
That's correct. So it's all about positioning on realestate.com.au. So,
most definitely.
We find that most consumers don't go past page 2 in any one session. We know that on average a person will spend about 6 minutes on our site. So that your sellers really need to, capture that audience, and the premiere and the highlight and your feature properties will do that.
And it also just reiterates again for people that, to price a place properly, present it properly, because usually the most interest is in the first 2 to 3 weeks, and a property can go from the first or second page very quickly down to the 4th or 5th or 6th on the portal. So perhaps that's just right. A little bit of money being spent on perhaps a highlight property or a feature property can really help keep that home there in people's view.
Oh, definitely. If you're doing a pictorial advertising in your local newspaper, then you should be replicating that online, and the great way to represent that is through the highlight and the premiere.
Yes, definitely. Look, Tina, I know you're a busy girl and you've got plenty of things to do today, so I really do appreciate your time with us, and I thank you very, very much for taking the time. And Andrew, who normally does talk to us, is off flouting around the state somewhere, so I thank him for letting you take his place today.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.